Hi! What do you regret? Well, now that's a strange question, but actually, the reason for asking it is, why do you regret it and not solve it? Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. You regret being with someone who has passed, okay? Well, that's true. I regret asking my parents more about the history, especially of my Polish relatives. That I would love to have that. So you're right. There's some things we can't get back. But let's say, for example, I regretted not going to college in my 20s. Well, that wasn't a problem. I happened to make it before I was 50, and I finished my last degree when I was 63, the one I dreamed of. When you're raised with a parent who thinks you're not worthwhile, and you say to yourself, I bet I am, and you finally make it, it's good. It's good. The feeling of making it obviously was not so much I told you so, because my mother died in 1985, I'm sorry, in 1985, and I finished my last degree in 2010. So obviously, I couldn't say to her, see, I told you so. I said it to myself, but not just to my 63-year-old self. I said it to my inner child. I said it to that little girl who felt like there was something very, very, very wrong with having been born female. Females are just useless. I mean, the only thing they're around for is take care of their relatives, raise the kids, take care of their relatives, keep quiet. You know, they're not. There's nothing else for them to do. And yet, my father, who also wanted sons, he wanted 6 sons, didn't tell me that. I didn't have the influence of him because he was gone so much, but he didn't tell me that. And that's what is so important. Number one, he said, you can be anything you want to be. Wow. Isn't that a message you want to hear? Especially from someone you trust? But because I was around my mother all the time when my father was gone, and I got the continued gaslighting about how impossible it was to be anything if you were female, I had to struggle to bring that other message up. And that's what I'm here to tell you about. Struggle to bring up the messages from people who say, you can be anything you want to be. Well, sure you should open that restaurant. Well, of course you can start that construction business. Yes, you are fantastic as a landscaper. You would be so good as a business owner. Oh yeah, going to school to become an engineer, that makes so much sense for you. But how do you do that? Do you go ask people to say that to you? No, of course not. No, of course not. You position yourself in a place where you're around people who appreciate you, who see you for who you really are, who understand your dreams and ask you about your dreams and show an interest in who you are. They don't go around talking about themselves all the time. People who talk about themselves all the time, be careful, they're probably narcissists. They're probably going to gaslight you, because people who talk about themselves all the time and care about what's going on with them typically have a very, very weak ego. And they see you as having a stronger ego, or possibly, they're not really sure if they don't know you, but they may think you have a stronger ego, and therefore the only thing they can do to feel better is to step on your back, and then it proves that you have a weaker ego. To them anyway, even though you just were being polite. Yeah. So it's really, really important to cut off those who don't make you feel good about yourself. It's hard. I know it's hard. I have two friends that I've made in just the last few years who have gosh, they have so much of the same interests I have. They're about my age. They're smart. They're insightful. They see things in a different way than I, which is great. I love having the advantage of being around people who see things differently. I'm not threatened by that at all. I think that's fantastic because it gives you a chance to go, oh, I never thought of turning that box upside down and reading the bottom of it. Wow, what a great idea. Or, I never looked at it that way. That's really interesting. Could you tell me a little more about that? Or some other thing that they mentioned that you hadn't thought of, but made such a big difference in how you perceived whatever they're talking about and yourself. Now, if what they're talking about is a way to put you down, you need to cut yourself off. And that's what happened to me. I really, really appreciate, well, the one gal, it's always really tough because it depends on how you feel. So that means that you have to get in touch with how your body feels. Now, I attend a meeting called Deep Relating, and that's the whole point of the meeting, is to help us recognize, well, right now I feel a little tightness in my throat, or I feel a little pressure on my chest, or I have a small ache in my stomach. Why? Because we mentioned something. Okay, we talked about this, or I thought about that, or whatever it is. The point is, can you recognize in yourself at that moment what's going on? Oh, it's really tough. It's really tough. And the more you work at it, the harder it is, unless you have a community can help you trying to do the same thing, which is why I do it my damnedest to never miss one of these meetings, because it gives me an opportunity to have somebody giving me honest feedback for what I want to have happen, even though it may not be what I really want to hear at the moment. I get corrected all the time. No, Jackie, you're telling a story. This isn't about past. This is about right this minute, how you feel. And it's hard for me to get that because I'd rather tell a story. But yet, I really want to notice what's going on. When I am with someone who makes me feel bad about me, I need to be able to say, that person makes me feel bad about me. It's not me judging the other person. Because I really have trouble with that. I really hate the idea of judging another person. I know that when I judge another person, it's likely to make them feel bad. And I don't like to do that. So I want not to do that. So sometimes I overshadow my desire to do that by excusing what they're doing because I don't want to feel it and acknowledge the fact that I really need to cut myself off. But I do. I have a very brilliant woman about my age, well, a little younger than me. Most people are. Okay, so she's a little younger than I am, but has had a brilliant career and also tremendous tragedies. She's had family issues. She's had health issues. She's had tremendously powerful career issues that are fascinating. Yet, when I say something about something I like or something I've done or somewhere I've been, there is almost every single time, well, you shouldn't have done that. Well, what were you thinking of? Well, why on earth would you take that path? You know, I kept hearing this. And I went, wait a minute. Every time I'm around this person, I get that. Gads. I don't need that anymore in my life. So now if I see her from a distance and she sees me, I'll wave, I'll say nice, nice. But I don't invite her to sit with me. I don't invite her to go to lunch with me. I don't ask if I can come and visit her. No. Because I don't need that. I've got my own issues, and you've got your own issues. Maybe you need to be concerned about paying the rent. Maybe you're trying to figure out what meals to serve your family tonight. Maybe you've got a child who needs psychological therapy. Maybe you've got a disabled child. Maybe you've got a child who's struggling to get into college with their entrance exams. Whatever it is, maybe you've got clothes that need to be washed and dried. Whatever it is, you've got your own things that you need to worry about. Your own things that you regret, and you want to get past regretting them. Not having somebody bring them up again, or bring up the fact that you're a failure, or that you've been ignorant of something, or you've made a wrong choice, or whatever it is, put you down. I wrote a book called Empowering Spanish Speakers. And that's what I really like to do in my life. I do a lot of volunteer work, and my goal is that every time I'm with people, they feel better about themselves. That's what the word, to me, what the word empowering means. It means to give someone the feeling of having more power than they felt like they had before they saw me, or before they came to the meeting with me, at the very least. Okay, but the other friend, never puts me down, never makes me feel that way, but exhausts me. And I know you've had friends like this, especially family members. Oh my gosh. Because the one thing about family members, well, I think, I don't really know, I never had any siblings. I mean, my mother had a child 18 months after I was born, but he only lived 4 days, and she couldn't have any more. So I have no experience with siblings. I have a lot of experience with two very, very dear friends that I've had much of my life, but not siblings. But when I have talked to people who have siblings, they talk about the fact that you can say anything about whatever happened when you were kids or since, if you want to, but you may be taking a chance, because there too they know that that person may not be the empowerer that they're looking for. Okay, so here we go. You can have people in your life who you care about, and it's possibly a younger sibling that's more likely to be someone who is going to lean on you too much. Just lean until you feel exhausted. You talk to the person about something else, and they'll all of a sudden say, "Oh, I can't talk about that. That's so upsetting to me. I can't talk about it." Well, I appreciate that. If that's upsetting them, let's not talk about it. Or you suggest that we do something, or if they wanted to reach the goal that they were thinking about, maybe they should try such and such. Oh, I could never do that. I'm no good in a corporation, or I'm no good with computers, or I'm no good with math, or I'm no good with foreign language people, or whatever it is. And so every single thing in the conversation, number one, is about them. As the victim, always as the victim. They can't see past being a victim. And they know that I'm committed to empowering people. So it's just this wheel of frustration. I'm trying to think of ways to give this person some options for reaching the goal that they say they're really trying to get to, and they keep telling me, "Oh, I could never do that. Oh, I could never do that. Oh, I can't do that possibly. I've tried to do that. Oh." And, you're just exhausted, because nothing seems to motivate the person. A constant procrastinator is a common example of that, or a constant person has been diagnosed with something that they don't have enough attention to things, or they don't have enough strength for things, or they don't have enough concentration, or they have too much concentration and can't separate for what you want. I mean, it really doesn't matter. It's just that they've got it tattooed on their forehead. I am a victim, and I'm going to remain a victim. I'm never going to not be a victim. And no matter how much you say to me, I'm going to stay a victim. And you have to recognize at some point, yes, we have a lot that we like to talk about in common, but every other or every third sentence, we have to go back to you being a victim. And it just makes it so difficult, even though there's common things that we both really, really enjoy talking about. And some of them are wins. I mean, we talk about things that we have won at, but usually not. Usually, well, I did have this, but boy, was it. Or it was always wonderful then when I had that, but I don't now. Okay, it was wonderful in 1980 when I had a corporate job and I had the backup of the whole corporation behind me. Okay, fine. Or it was great when I lived in outer Mongolia and I had this beautiful big farm and it was very inexpensive. Then I could do it. Okay, so there's always something in the way with the victim mentality, and it's so sad. And even when you talk to them about a son or a daughter or a cousin or an aunt or a good friend of theirs who they would like to see get ahead, it's always an excuse about why they can't. Oh, though she would never take that job, or she would never think about living in that place, or she would never consider making that investment. Whatever it is. I mean, you're sitting there going, oh my, this is so difficult, because the person is a committed victim. And it makes it real tough for you, because you're trying to get somewhere with them. And when has a regret for you ever been something that hangs on your sleeve for the rest of your life? A regret is just a goal that you didn't make, and you probably still could at some level. You have to change it. You know, life is the only thing we can count on is change. So you got to change and you got to adapt and make it a little different. Maybe you regretted that you never learned how to dance when you were a child. Okay, but can you dance now? Can you take a lesson now? Maybe you regretted that you never lived in the Alps. Well, could you go visit now and find out if that was really something you would have enjoyed? You know, you regretted that you never were a fisherman. Can you go on a cruise and see whether you like fishing, or go on a fishing trip? You regretted that you've never hiked a certain mountain. Well, could you hike a smaller one and see if you enjoyed it? Or could you maybe there's a scholarship or a contest or something to go to that mountain. What I'm trying to say is, sitting around and regretting is never going to get you anywhere. But adapting, changing, and looking not only to get the goal that you were looking for, but to get the people around you who can help you to get to that goal. I see this so incredibly clearly, so obviously, in groups where I coordinate people to come in and out of the group on recovery from trauma, recovery from drugs and alcohol dependency, recovery from overeating or over gambling or inappropriate sexual expression, or whatever it is that they did that harmed them and their family and their friends and their lifestyle and their career and whatever it was. Instead of regretting, oh, I drank, oh, I took those drugs, oh, I disappointed my child, oh, I. Don't go there. That was yesterday. It's done. It's over. It's behind you. Go forward. First, you have to love yourself before you can love others. So love yourself enough to say, I'm not going to focus on that regret. I'm going to focus on what I can do now. I can focus on where I can go now. I'm going to focus on being around people who understand me and appreciate me and show me love and respect and kindness and encouragement and all kinds of different ways to get past whatever I regretted, because I'm wasting time regretting. It's a waste of time. It's behind you. You can't change it. But you can change what you go forward with. And that's what really, really matters. Now, down below, there's comments. You can ask me any question you'd like. I'll be happy to answer. I'm anxious to do anything I can to help you. I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher we're all teachers once we have a child, but I've been a teacher most of my life. I love teaching. I taught in preschool, I taught in middle school, I taught in high school, I taught in college, I was a flight instructor. I've been a counselor, clergy for almost 40 years. I can answer any questions you have, and anything about you, I'm happy to help you in any way I can. I mean, if you're LGBTQA plus, or you're an English language learner, or you have been through a divorce, or you've killed somebody, or you've been in jail, none of those things are important. Those are behind you now. I want to know where you are now and what you want to do in front of you. So don't be afraid. Ask me a question. I'll help as much as I can from here. This is where I happen to be, on the other side of wherever you are, probably, more than likely, because I'm in Ecuador. So don't be afraid. Think about yourself. Love yourself. And think about who you want to be, not who you were. Thank you.